Welcome to episode 29 of Autonomous John, where I bring you high-tech news from my low-tech basement. This is the week of August 29th, 2019. This week, we talk about the state of Uber and Lyft, Optimus Ride hitting the road, and some autonomous trucks rolling through Texas. Let's roll. I covered both Uber and Lyft's IPOs earlier this year, and now is as good a time as any to give you an update. Uber and Lyft are both making headlines again after a recent quarterly earnings release by Uber. They reported $5 billion in losses and slow growth. Lyft had reported losses of over $1 billion a couple months after their IPO, although Uber fell a bit short of shareholder expectation. Losses are expected, and in some way, some form of a strategy for both companies like Uber and Lyft. What they're really both after is focused on trying to get the biggest share of the market. Each of the companies both trying to become ubiquitous with ride-hailing. The big question here is, when will autonomous vehicles truly be a reality? Both Uber and Lyft are both banking big on replacing drivers with autonomous technology. There's lots of risks in there, such as regulations and slower to market technologies than expected. Either way, even with this lot of negative headlines, it's far from over for giants like Uber and Lyft, and I'll certainly continue to keep you updated. Optimus Ride's in the news again. If you recall, I talked about Optimus Ride back in episode 6 when they rolled out a shuttle in Reston, Virginia. Well, they're back at it again, this time hitting the streets of Brooklyn, New York. Optimus Ride is in fact the first self-driving car company to offer commercial services in New York. They're conducting service in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, which is a 300-acre private commercial development. The shuttle will operate 7 days a week, offering free rides throughout the entire development. The Brooklyn Navy Yard has over 10,000 workers, which makes deployments like this both useful and worthwhile. It also helps companies like Optimus Ride when rollouts like this can be on private roads. It makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to get around regulations. The vehicle will include a safety driver at all times. I've always been a big believer in these autonomous shuttles, and it's super exciting to see tangible rollouts like this throughout the country, and I'll definitely keep you updated as more roll out. Kodiak Robotics, a self-driving truck startup, is launching delivery services in northern Texas. Kodiak has a fleet of 8 trucks and has raised around $40 million to date. The company's focused on autonomy for long-haul trucking, where there's a growing driver shortage and highways are easier for self-driving truck tech to navigate. Kodiak has top-tier talent in their CEO, who was with Google's self-driving car division and was also co-founder of Auto, which was later purchased by Uber. The scope and scale of the delivery services are yet to be revealed, and Kodiak hasn't named a client at this point. Texas has been attracting a lot of self-driving truck companies due to the ability to actually operate on the roads. Most states, including California, are challenging to operate autonomous trucks due to legal restrictions. Texas also has ideal weather for year-round deployments and testing due to the lack of snow. As I've said in the past, I'm a big believer in autonomous trucks, as I think that the market is definitely there. The driver shortage issues, along with hours of service restrictions, have been looming for quite some time with no end in sight. I'm a big believer that autonomous vehicles will eventually make transporting goods much more cost effective for the end consumer. Well, anyways, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so at john@autonomousjohn.com. Until next week, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.